Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be giving you guys our top 10 brawlers inside the current meta. Now, this top 10 list was actually extremely hard to make because I think the meta is pretty balanced right now. There's a lot of brawlers that are very viable in the current meta. So a lot of the brawlers could go up a couple ranks or down ranks. But again, this is just my opinion, so don't flame me too hard in the comments down below. But again, let me know what you guys think of the top 10 list in the comments. But either way, guys, let's get to number 10. Alright guys, coming in at number 10, I couldn't decide between 3 different brawlers, so what I did, I cheated a little bit, and I put 3 brawlers at number 10 slot. So I put Belle, Rico, and Mortis all at number 10, because I think all 3 brawlers are very strong inside the current meta. So for Belle, Belle is just a very good long-range brawler, just very well-rounded overall, and again, Belle got a nerf, that's why she's going to be lower on the list, but again, still a very strong option on most maps. And then you have Rico, a very strong lane brawler on most maps. I mean, with the bouncy castle gadget, it's very hard to take Rico out, and Rico wins most of the matchups, but again, a little bit map dependent, so that's why Rico's going to be lower on the list. And then you have Mortis, the brawler that is probably always going to be somewhat viable in the current meta, just because he's used to counter certain brawlers, and he's a very good option as an aggressive brawler, counter, you name it, Mortis is always pretty good. So, alright, coming in at number 9, we're going to have one of the best lane brawlers inside the game, and that is going to be Spike. Now, Spike is just very strong right now inside the current meta because, well, there's really not that many counters to Spike. Honestly, most lanes he does very well against. He wins a lot of them. He goes even with a lot of them. And again, it's because of his gadget and curveball, star power. Those are both really strong right now. And if you don't know how to dodge curveball, you're going to win your lane a lot of the time. And even some pros struggle like me dodging curveball consistently. I have got a lot better at it. But again, Spike, very reliable lane brawler. Can be used on basically any of the maps. So we're going to put Spike at number 9. All right, at number 8, we're going to have the invisible monster, Leon. Now, Leon is a pain in my back sometimes. Honestly, guys, I just hate getting killed by an invisible Leon. Unless I'm coordinating with my teammates, there's nothing I can really do. I just know he's coming for me half the time, and he's going to take me out. And again, nothing I can do about it half the time. So he's a very strong lane brawler right now. And again, what makes Leon really strong is the gadget Lollipop Drop. Now, if the enemy team doesn't have a way to take out your Lollipop Drop gadget, let me tell you, that is such an advantage for your team. If you're giving your team invis, they're going to win their lane, 90% more often. And again, if the other team doesn't have a way to take it out, you're basically winning lane for another brawler on your team, as well as maybe even yourself if multiple people are using your invis. So again, Leon very strong because of the gadget mostly, but again, even not bad without the gadget. All right, at number 7, we're going to have one of the most aggressive brawlers inside the current meta, and that is going to be Buzz. Now, Buzz, again, very strong tank, very aggressive brawler that can be used, in multiple scenarios, and honestly creates a lot of openings for your team. If you have the stun super, you can just... once you hit that super, it is game over for the enemy. They are going to go down unless somehow you have some way to interrupt it. But basically, you hit that stun super, and you can auto aim it half the time, which is kind of crazy. You're going to be able to take out your opponent, so you can kind of chain it sometimes, get some pretty crazy kills. And honestly, a good Buzz is so scary. So that's why Buzz is going to be at number 7. There are some counters, but again, Buzz is still very strong. All right, at number 6, we're going to have a brawler that has never, I don't think ever been out of the top 10, and that is going to be Stu. Now, Stu, ever since release, has been very strong. Now, Stu received some nerfs along the way, but again, Stu is still a very strong option in the lane. I mean, unless you're running counters to Stu like Tara minions or Ruff's bags or the Spike cactus, Stu is a very strong lane option that's probably going to win lane, more often than not. And if you're not running the counters, again, you're going to have a hard time dealing with Stu. Now, a good Stu is going to be able to take over the game because I think the mechanic itself is kind of broken, where you can just get your super after one hit. You can shoot dash, all over the map, and it's going to be really hard to hit a Stu that is playing it right. So again, you're going to waste a lot of ammo. In my opinion, Stu is just still very good. All right, coming in at number 5, we're going to have a brawler that has been at the bottom of Brawl Stars for a very long time, and that is going to be Jacky. Now, Jacky received a pretty big buff in the sense that Jacky is now able to super while moving. And guys, let me tell you, this mechanic has changed the way Jacky is played so much. Jacky is one of the best goal scorers in Brawl Ball now, just because you can just super and shoot at the same time, and there is no way the enemy team catches the ball. So again, now Jacky is a very strong option in Brawl Ball, one of the best tanks in the game. Even though Jacky did receive a nerf, emergency nerf at that, Jacky is still very strong in my opinion. That's why I'm going to put it a little bit lower. If the emergency nerf didn't come out, I would have put Jacky number 2 probably. But again, Jacky, one of the best tanks in the game right now. So number 5. All right, coming out at number 4, we're gonna have the newest brawler inside of Brawl Stars, and that is going to be Meg. Now, Meg would have been number 1 probably for me if it wasn't for the emergency nerf, just because of how broken the mechanic was. Once you ran out of your mech form, you could shoot 6 shots very quickly and sometimes regain your mech form instantly, and then the other team could not take you out whatsoever. You just had too much HP all the time. But since they did nerf Meg, I still think Meg is very, very strong inside the current meta. I think the whole, very good at close range with the, 3,500 swipe attack is still very strong, as well as even at far range, you have so much HP, you do a pretty good amount of damage, and just, again, it's really hard to take out Meg. Even the small form of Meg is not that weak. It is somewhat weak, but at the same time, it's pretty easy to hit your shots. Your shots go so fast. And unless the enemy team really knows what they're doing, you're going to get your mech form eventually, and that's when you start to take over the game. So Meg going to be in my number 4 slot. All right, number 3 is going to be Byron. Now, I think Byron is very, very strong inside the current meta, just because of how useful Byron is. I mean, you can use Byron as a healer, which is typically what people do. They usually run like double tank with Byron, and it's really, really hard to beat that comp just because you're healing your tanks. Again, you get your super in 3 shots, which I think is a little bit too easy to get your super. And at the same time, let's say your tanks get countered and they run like Tara and stuff like that. You could just switch from healing your tanks and become a sniper. And honestly, the sniper version of Byron is still very, very strong. You get your super, like I said, in 3 shots, and you can just auto aim your super onto whoever's closest, and it's going to hit, I think, like 99% of the time. I really don't see many times where it doesn't actually hit. And then again, you can just like 2-tap them, super, and they're gonna die most times. And again, you can just always switch from being a healer to aggressive sniper. Again, Byron's just so overall really well-rounded in my opinion. That's why Byron's gonna get number 3 for me. At number 2, we're gonna have one of the newer brawlers inside of Brawl Stars, and that is going to be Ashe. Now, if I had to describe Ashe, basically I would say Ashe is a buffed version of Nita. I think Ashe is just 100% better version of Nita, basically same type of attack. I know it's a little bit delayed, but you do more damage. You're also faster when you take damage from the enemy. Your super is just like a bear, but basically, 5 of them. I know they don't have much HP, but again, it still takes a lot of ammo from the enemy team to take them out, and that's why the super is so good as well. So for example, versus brawlers like B and Byron, they're gonna have a really hard time taking them out. They're gonna have to tank the rats. There's no question. They're not gonna be able to take them all out, and then you slowly get your super back. Also, Ashe basically becomes unkillable when you pair Ashe with a brawler like Byron. Byron Ashe is one of the best comps inside the game right now, basically because if you don't run a hard counter, you're never going to kill Ashe. I mean, Ashe is just going to run in your face and it's going to hit you, get super, and again, you're never going to be able to take out all the rats and deal with Ashe at the same time. Ashe is going to be fast, deals a ton of damage, so again, you have to run super hard counters like Crow, B to deal with it. So Ashe right now, just extreme buffed version of Nita. That's my opinion. Alright guys, so the number 1 brawler in Brawl Stars, in my opinion, is going to be Brock. Now this is a little bit controversial, just because Brock got a nerf and a buff at the same time. So Brock got a recent damage nerf, as well as the Big Rocket got a damage nerf as well. But at the same time, Brock got a huge buff in the sense that his explosion radius is now huge. Like, I mean, there's no question, once you shoot that shot and at the end of the range, if the enemy is anywhere near it, they're going to get hit. And you can no longer dodge Brock shots at the end of the range. So it becomes really, really tricky to play against Brock. And I think the new mechanic, or the new explosion radius, is so strong that it's just so easy to hit shots. You still do a ton of damage as Brock, and you're going to be able to take out most brawlers in 3 shots, 2 shots. And I mean, you get your super faster now. Again, you're a very good utility brawler. You can break walls. And I think the only counter to Brock right now is honestly just a ton of HP. So tanks, that can just tank a couple shots from Brock and still keep pushing up, are going to be pretty good versus Brock. But even then, if you pair Brock with like a B or something, they're going to have a really hard time inside the game. So Brock right now, honestly, just the new mechanic of, or the new explosion radius has made Brock my number 1 brawler. So yeah. Alright guys, that's going to be it for the video. Now let me know in the comments down below if you guys disagree with my top 10 list or if you guys agree. And if there's something you would change, again, let me know. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.